Hey, it's Jesus Castillo from rubyguides.com, and today I want to share with you two simple Rails methods. But just because they are simple, it doesn't mean that they aren't useful, okay? So what are these methods? Well, first let me show you what are they related to. So in Rails we have, of course, something called ActiveRecord. ActiveRecord. With ActiveRecord, you can query your records, your database records, so that's your data. In this case, I have this application with cats. Cat is my model, so I have cats in my database, right? So there are different ways to query the database, to get information from your database and to filter it. Of course, you can do something like all. All gives you the full list. And you can do where. With where you can give it an attribute, like you can say name, give me all the cats that have this name, right? Or you can say find by, which is very similar to where. And if you're aren't familiar with these methods, I have another video where you can watch and learn about the difference between where and find by, and also some basic ActiveRecord methods. So for today's video, I wanted to show you the following methods. Two of them that are very helpful. One of them is called Pluck, right? It has kind of funny name, but that's the name that we have. And the other one I'm going to tell you later, so you may want to keep watching the video and to learn about the other method. So Pluck, what is it? Well, it's another like query method. So that means we can ask, we are asking information, we're retrieving information from the database, but this is different. In what way? Well, let me show you an example. Let's say that I want a list of all of the names of the cats that I have on the database, okay? So the way to do that is to use the Pluck method like this. And as a result, that's our SQL query, and this is how long it took to run, and this is our output. So notice this is a plain Ruby array, nothing special here, it's just an array with all the names. And that's Pluck speciality, that's why you use Pluck, is to get an array of something. Now, why is this helpful? Why would you use this over something like where or find by? This is where it really matters to pay attention, because this, in the differences, is where you find why something is better than something else, when should you use it, and when you should not use it. In this case, Pluck gives you an array. But what does where give you? Where, when you use something like where, what you get is not an array, it's not a plain array, but it contains ActiveRecord objects, right? So this is different, because in here we have strings, right? We have just plain regular Ruby strings, and here we have ActiveRecord objects. And usually it is represented into something called an ActiveRecord relation object. So why is this different important? Well, it turns out that creating ActiveRecord objects and ActiveRecord relations, that's slower and more, it costs more resources, more memory, more computing time, more CPU time. It takes longer, so it ends being slower, more resource intensive when you use where. Why? Because it produces ActiveRecord objects, and ActiveRecord objects are bigger, they have more data and they do more things, therefore they take more resources. But an array is very simple, because in this case it's just strings, and strings have a series of optimizations built into the language. So it's part of the language itself, and that makes it lighter on the resource usage. and therefore more efficient. So, in summary, what that means, and we still have to talk about the other method, but in summary, what this means is that you should choose Pluck when all you need is just the data like this. And you should choose where when you need more flexibility and you need the full ActiveRecord objects, right? So if you have defined methods in your model, to access these methods on the model, you will need the ActiveRecord objects, right? So that's the big difference. But if you only need the data like this, then use Pluck. And in fact, I believe you can combine where to filter your records. So you can filter your list of records and say, for example, only give me cats that have a starting character of M, for example. That's like an initial filtering of your data. And then you could pluck out the specific data from this filter list. So that will be like where plus Pluck. But Pluck always goes last. Why? Because when you have an array, you don't convert that back into ActiveRecord objects. At least not without running more new queries. So that's the idea here. Pluck is more efficient. Use it when you only need the data. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is that you can use two arguments with Pluck. So these arguments are symbols, and I can use two arguments. So I can get the ID alongside the name. And then what I get is an array of arrays, and you can tell because we have two opening square brackets and two closing square brackets. That makes this an array of arrays, and each sub-array contains this, exactly what you asked for. It has pairs of or list of the ID and its corresponding name. So why would this be useful? In this case, this format of data. Why would it be useful to ask for data in this format? Well, let's say you have like a select drop-down menu. Well, you need two things for a drop-down menu. You need the actual thing you're going to display, and you also need some kind of ID, right? So with this, you already have the data for your drop-down select element. That could be one possible use to pass in those arguments. And finally, if you only wanted the IDs, there is a shortcut, and this is the method I was hinting at. And you of course do Pluck ID, but the method is IDs. So notice this is plural, so it's IDs with an S at the end. Very important, right? If you don't type things correctly, that is not going to work. But in here we're plugging the ID that gives us a list of IDs, but the shortcut version and the method, the other method that I wanted to share with you in this video is IDs. So, summary of what you learned in this video. Well, you learned that ActiveRecord methods allow you to query, get information from the database. And these methods are things like all, where, and find by. But these methods give you ActiveRecord objects which are slower. They take more resources. But if you only want the data directly, what you can do is you can use a method like Pluck. Pluck takes a list of attributes, and as a result you get an array with the data and no ActiveRecord objects, which makes it faster and more lighter on the resource usage. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something new, and if you did, please click the like button for me so I know that you like this video so more people can find it. And if you want to keep learning, watch more videos on the channel. Right now there are over 100 videos you can watch to keep improving your Ruby skills. and visit my website, which is rubyguides.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and subscribe to my newsletter on rubyguides.com. Thanks a lot for watching. I will see you in the next video.